Hi guys, welcome back. I feel like it was only yesterday that we were filming, but these are actually quite spaced out. We are on episode 3 of my wellness prep and digging in deep right now. Calories got dropped last week quite significantly. Cardio got raised quite significantly, and I am feeling like skin and bones. I'm feeling quite fragile, and I am going to admit I have actually started to vape. It's got to that point in prep where I've picked up the vape, guys. So not socially doing it all the time. I'm just kind of doing it every now and then when I feel like I could have like a full chocolate cake. I'm just having a bit of a vape, but I know it's a bad habit, so I'm gonna keep it to a bare minimum. If you start seeing me, carrying it around in my hands around the gym, then you can start having a go at me, okay, guys? But we are around about 1,600 calories at the minute, which is very low. Cardio's at an hour a day on the cross trainer. We're gonna dig deep for another week, and then we're gonna go into a diet break for a week. So looking forward to that, looking forward to my calories being around maintenance. We've got a lot of work to do in that short space of time, and then after that, the fun kicks off. We've got the PEDs coming into play. Hopefully I'm gonna turn into a transformer, and hopefully I'm gonna get some of my strength back. Maybe, we'll see. But we're gonna fight for it today. We've got a leg session. We're training mainly quads. We're gonna start off with some hamstrings. We're gonna finish with some hamstrings, quads in the middle section. I did have a little bit of a twinge in my piriformis last week, so we are gonna go a little bit lighter on the squat variations, but in doing so, there are some really cool things that I'm going to show you, and some really good ways to really target your quads and your teardrops in particular. So without further ado, let's get sweaty and start this leg workout. My weakest body parts. Can't even speak today. It's gonna be a rough one today, guys, okay? My weakest body parts, I do feel, are my hamstrings. It doesn't help that I can't really train them as much as I want, but yeah, hamstrings and calves. I mean, I don't actually, do you know what? We're gonna train calves today just to prove to you guys I do train them. But yeah, hamstring and calves are just, I'm not a fan. I love doing things like straight leg deadlifts, RDLs, all that lot, but can't do those. Can't really feel hamstrings other than connecting with them like this or isolating them. But honestly, they're quite hard for me to train, and I don't enjoy them. But you can learn to love a body part when you're training it, because that was me with glutes. I think I mentioned in one of my previous videos that I used to hate training glutes. I never trained glutes. And now they are honestly one of my favorite things to train, because I've conditioned myself to like them. So now I'm conditioning myself to like hamstrings, because it would be really nice to have some, do 82, see how that feels. I'm hitting hamstrings every other day, doing 2 to 3 exercises on them. They don't have their own day for me because, like I said, I don't enjoy them, and also I don't feel like there is that much I can do for hamstrings. So I do train them pretty much every glute and every quad day, and just throw in 2 to 3 exercises, which in reality does kind of build up throughout the week. Training them 4 times a week, 2 to 3 exercises is quite a lot, but definitely know that I could be training them more, could be training them harder. But we're gonna shrink down. I'm gonna see what needs to be improved on. This is a really cool thing about doing this prep. There are lots and lots of reasons to why I want to do it, but one of the really key reasons to why I want to do it is just to see what my physique actually looks like. I've not been on stage for 5 years. My physique and my goals have changed since then. I've grown muscle, I've lost muscle in different areas, so it's just going to be really cool to actually see what I look like and what the work has done over the years. And yeah, hamstrings for me is definitely not going to be a surprise if they are smaller than I want, but I'm hoping that like my quad hamstring separation and my glute tie-in are going to bring them up a little bit. So we're going to do 2 top sets on here and then head on to squats. Fucking hell. That hurts. I do like going through a variation of like doing 2 heavy sets as the entire exercise and then doing 1 heavy set and 2 back down sets as like lighter drop sets. Today was a heavy set on here. We're now gonna go over to squats and we're both gonna see at the same time whether or not my back decides to be my friend today. Few new things today. One of them is actually using a safety bar. So I was just saying that I use a safety bar quite a lot when I got a slap chair on my shoulder, because obviously I could still train legs, but to squat whilst doing this really aggravated it. So I actually used the squat bar, the safety squat bar, for quite a while, maybe the best part of like 3 or 4 months, and I absolutely loved it. So we're gonna try and use it today. I don't know how it's gonna go with the variation of squats I wanna do, but we're gonna warm up without the wedges. So I'm gonna have my squat shoes on, and I'm also gonna have the wedges, these ones here. I've got 2 of them, and we're gonna be doing super heel elevated squats. And I tell you now, like, you cannot go heavy with this. Like, if eventually I can do 140 for decent reps and sets with this and my squat shoes, then I'll be laughing. But today, we're gonna see how like 80 to 100 kg, maybe not even 100 kg, maybe 80 kg feels with the safety bar. And yeah, we're just gonna absolutely be burning that inner part of our quad, that teardrop that you see when girls hit that front pose and the side pose. That bit there is the bit we're gonna be working. So let's warm up with this, put the knee sleeves on, and then we'll crack on with some sets. Do you know what I just thought? I get so many people like asking for like my sweaty gym socks and stuff. And I feel like those people with those fetishes, they're missing the best part, right? There is nothing sweatier than a pair of knee sleeves. So if I'm speaking to one of you, you know who you are. These are the ones you want, not these. These only get worn once. My knee sleeves, I mean, I go months without washing them. So there you go, just a little heads up there, guys. Okay, so this is like a little bit of trial and error. We did switch out the safety bar because I did have a feeling that because we're going so close and so low, the elbows will get in the way, which is exactly what they did. So we switched it out for a normal bar. We're just gonna warm up with absolutely no weight and see how this feels. So my goal for this is I get very bad piriformis syndrome on both sides. Like, it doesn't matter which glute, it will kick off on the right one or the left one. And it's to do with the fact that when I squat, I then lean forward, and it's that leaning forward motion along with the downward pressure which is causing my piriformis to act up. So it's not the end of the world, but if we can try and get around it and still squat, then that's what I'm trying to do. So by having our feet super elevated, it means that the only thing we can really do is stay completely fucking upright. It makes the squat about 10 times harder. I'm not even joking, 10 times harder. And it is it is the most quad dominant squat form you can do. So we're gonna work out very slowly, making sure that my piriformis is fine, making sure that my squat form is fine, and also just taking it slow, because as you can tell, this is quite an unnatural position to be in, and with the weight on our back, we want to make sure that we're not injuring ourselves. So we're going to warm up on the bar and then go from there. I can feel that. And we haven't even got any weight on it yet. That absolutely burns. The other thing you can do as well, which in all honesty I do prefer, is Smith machine squats. Exactly the same setup, but you're obviously anchored in, so you're less likely to get injured. The reason why I'm not doing that is because I'm heading off to America for 3 weeks, and the gyms there from where I'm going to, I've been before, they have a varied amount of equipment, but when it comes to legs, they don't have that much. So I'm trying to integrate some kind of squat now so that when I'm there, I can still progress and I'm not left kind of, you know, just going on machines that I wouldn't usually use, or machines that are going to injure me, or machines that I'm not going to be able to progress in. So you can do this on the Smith machine, and I do recommend doing it on the Smith machine if you have one. But for me, for now, we're going to try and ace it just on the squat rack, because let's be honest, I don't think I've ever been to a gym that doesn't have a squat rack. Wow. Oh my God. I'm trying to get like a lot less picky as well with like the equipment I use. It's kind of a different story when you're powerlifting. Well, it is and it isn't, but I actually bought my own bars to this gym when I was powerlifting. Have no fucking clue where they are now. And like my old self would be looking at me right now using a bar that is literally bent, like it's literally bent, and she would be pulling her hair out. But you know, I do travel a lot and I love traveling, so like not necessarily sacrifices, but things like this you just have to accept. And before, I would have spent about a good half an hour going around finding the right bar, and I'm like, you know what, you could have done about 5 more sets in that time. So trying harder now to kind of just, you know, deal with what I've got, what's available. And because, like I said, I travel a lot, you can't always have the best bars. I mean, this is by far the best bar, but we have to show it some love, you know, because no one else is going to use it. Okay, we're going to do 100. So the issue with me squatting is, I squatted my first time last week. I did 160 kilos for 2 sets of 12. Haven't squatted for maybe best part of a year, not on cycle and on calorie deficit. And the issue is, my body can do it, I'm strong enough to do it, but my body can't do it. And that's also why I've hurt myself, because I can lift the weight, but my body's not used to it. So I think we're gonna try 100. If it's really easy, we will go up. But in all honesty, I think by like rep 7, my quads are gonna be fucked. It's a different kind of fuckery, I swear. It's like, it just creeps up on you, like on rep 7. You don't feel it, you're like, oh, this is fine, and then like, bam. My plan for my rebound, because even though I'm not powerlifting anymore, there's just a high I get from lifting heavy weight. And deadlift and bench for my goals are kind of out of the question, but squatting definitely isn't. It definitely aids in my goal of the big leg look. You know, I can squat as much as I want, it's not gonna grow my upper body. So in my rebound, my goal is to absolutely beast squats. I don't really have a figure in mind, but I would like to do something impressive in terms of like weight and reps. not a kind of single rep max, but I mean like 180 kilo for 20 reps, something like that. That would be pretty fucking cool, right? And then I also want to do something with the hip thrust. So there's like a hip thrust record. I've not looked too much into it, but it's pretty crazy. I think it's like between 380 or 450, somewhere between that region. That would also be pretty fucking cool to try and do. So the goals continue. Like for me, post-prep is the most scariest time ever. Not many people think about it, and not many people talk about it because they don't want to, or you've mastered it and then you don't feel like you need to talk about it anymore. But for me, when I did my 2 preps before this, post-prep was honestly like a very traumatic time for me. I had eating disorders. No one told me kind of, you know, what to expect. And after the high of chasing a prep for so long and then reaching that finish line, no matter what the outcome, even if you win your pro card, after it, you kind of fall into this, okay, well, what's next for me? And I was very young and I also didn't understand the importance of rebounding, but I struggled a lot with post-prep, and it took me a very, very long time, 5 years, to come back and try this again and really, really master what comes after the show. And if people ask me what my goals are for this prep, it's not to step on stage and compete, it's to fucking crush my rebound. That is what my goal is. So along with that, crushing that goal and crushing that rebound also comes more goals, and that's why I'm already forward thinking about, okay, well, let's set some strength goals because I know I'm fucking good at that and I know I can do that, and it's not necessarily to do with what I look like. So those are the goals in place. There's a little bit of backstory, because even I haven't opened up about that. I know I've just said to you then, like, no one opens up about it, but I haven't really opened up about what I went through post-show. I am gonna have a kilo of sweets though, like that's non-negotiable. Fucking hell. We'll just pretend it's 200 kilo. That's so hard. It's everything though, like it's the balance, the stability. Walking out and just setting yourself up on the wedges actually takes a lot out of you. Like, I'm not sure if anyone's ever done like a walkout squat versus a squat where you use the lever. It takes a huge amount out of you. So yeah, just to do that bit, I'm just making excuses for myself, guys, so I'm feeling weak. But yeah, we're gonna do one more set of this. My quads are on fire, but hey, at least you know they're working. We were like just talking about powerlifting and like how crazy the sports are. And I mean, every sport is extreme in some degree. Some of them are obviously like a lot more dangerous than others. I do feel though like your sport has to be worth it for you. And for example, I will give JP and Corin as an amazing example. Cuba, Meg, JP, Corin, live and breathe the sport and completely idolize them for it. But you have to always think like, if it's not your everything, then there are sacrifices you have to make for it. And what I mean by that is, for me in powerlifting, for me to get a 300 kilo deadlift, even though I had 275, right, people just think, oh, well, that's hardly anything. It would have required me to massively up the dosage of my PEDs, massively. It would have required me to get an even bigger upper body than I already had. And for me, I was already feeling quite bulky and uncomfortable. And it would have required a lot of sacrifice in terms of, you know, my social life, which might not be a big factor for some people, but it was for me. It meant that I needed to be on point and not missing a single session. Now, if it is your absolute goal, there is absolutely nothing wrong with doing that. But for me, the reason why I stepped away from powerlifting and the reason why I stepped away from competitive bodybuilding for a long time was because those goals weren't worth it, and that's okay. You can have a goal and still pull yourself back. I've seen some girls recently, a girl on Instagram I follow, I doubt she'll watch this, but she's now stopped competing in the competitive league in bodybuilding because I believe what she was trying to say was she doesn't want to have to push the drugs, or she doesn't even want to use the PEDs. I don't know which one. I don't know whether she was assisted or not, but her message was she's hanging up her shoes because that's not her, and she's not willing to take that risk and that step to achieve her goals. Okay, we're done on that. We will get better because we keep on having really good conversations off camera, so we will get better. But we were just talking about like the trend of like wellness and like the overall female categories, because I can't really comment on the men's, but we were just saying like the wellness category even now has got crazy. There are some absolute monsters in the wellness category, and we were just having a discussion about where we think wellness is going, what the judges are looking for. Now, I'm not a mind reader, but from what I've seen and from what I think they're trying to achieve is an overall wellness look, which doesn't just include the physique, it includes the face, the hair, the skin, the makeup, the package, absolutely everything that represents and comes into wellness. So this might be an unpopular opinion, but I do think in the female bodybuilding industry, it's the athletes that take it way too far. It's not the IFBB. You know, they keep on telling you what they want, but they can only compare the people that step on stage. So if you've got, I don't know, 20 girls who are absolutely jacked out of their ass in wellness, who probably could step onto a physique stage, but they're on the wellness stage as a wellness pro, all the IFBB can do for that is give the best package the first place award. So what I'm getting at is I think it's down to the athletes that are, you know, continuously pushing for this bigger, better, leaner, vascular condition, which especially in wellness and also bikini, you know, isn't what I think wellness should be represented by. And I do think as much as people are taking the piss, as much as I've also said a few comments about this bikini fit category, I think it's bringing people back down to earth, because it's just got so crazy. Like, even when you look at these bikini girls, don't get me wrong, they look fucking insane, but it's just got so crazy now to the point where they need to bring in a new normal category, which can actually still be achieved by only the top, I don't know, 10% of athletes. Like, for people to think that the bikini fit category is a category where girls aren't trying to train or girls aren't trying to diet, it's actually bizarre. Like, it is bizarre, because these girls, you know, look phenomenal. And don't get me wrong, I've even said in one of my last videos, you know, I look like a bikini fit girl, because for me, my normal is something that is so far past what a normal person looks like. So I think all in all, like with the wellness category, and I really, really do hope that IFBB do like stand up to it, because they have been so far. I really hope that they do continue to push the wellness category in terms of overall package. You know, the girls that have won the pro shows and also the Olympia in the past 2-3 years have been beautiful. They've had amazing symmetry. They've been shredded out their ass, and they've also just got such a nice package. And I really, really hope that the wellness category stays like that and people just kind of stay true to themselves. And if they get too big, from what we've seen anyway in the past Olympias, they don't get placed. If they're too lean, they don't get placed. If they're too big, they don't get placed. Yes, they look freaky, and if that's their intention, then go off for it. But I think it's really nice to see that the category is trying to contain itself as much as possible, and the girls within it all look amazing in their own way. I feel like if you angled this right, we could just pretend I was at Thorpe Park. Good, yeah. I love a machine or an exercise that kills you but just feels so nice. Like, it doesn't hurt anywhere. So like we can go up and maybe take this set till failure. Maybe 6 or 7 reps, maybe. My left leg is so much weaker, which is why it's so good to do these single leg presses, because when you do a normal leg press, your stronger leg is going to take, even if it's just a fraction of that weight, it's going to take it. So when you're doing the single leg, like your leg has to lift it. You know you've got a certain amount of reps to get, so you're going to work it even harder. And I know for a fact my left leg is weaker than my right, so every now and then it is good to add the single leg presses in. And honestly, I forgot how much I really, really like this machine, so you're probably going to see it in a lot more can't even speak. You're probably going to see it in a lot more leg days from now on. heavy one to be fair. But that was good. I'm glad we went up. Is that a Birkin? It's not a Birkin, is it? that is the cherry on top of the icing, seeing a Birkin handbag in the gym. That's when you know you're in Dubai. Right, I'm gonna take my Sports Direct bag and head over to leg extension. We're gonna do leg extension. We've got another hamstring exercise, which I haven't shown you guys yet, which is a good one. And then, you know how I said I was only ever gonna do one kind of ab exercise? Well, I lied, because I found a new one, which actually isn't an ab machine, but we've made it into an ab machine. Nearly died the first time I used it, but you'll know why when I show you. We're gonna do 8 reps, and we're gonna do 4 drop sets, and then single leg. Absolutely murder the quads. I do this like every other leg session, and you guys haven't seen it yet, so you'll see some beautiful faces in about a minute. I like doing those because like you're not going heavy enough to hurt yourself, because I can pretty much stack this bar 1 or 2. I just don't feel it. It's not good for my knees. So doing stuff like this, like, oh, burns. And then I do also like to hold my leg extensions at the top, but they're pretty much the same ones that the other ones we did on the other day, where we do just 3 sets of a pretty heavy weight, and we just hold them for a second at the top, really squeeze, but these burn, and we have another set of these. I love showing these to my friends because I feel like a lot of people don't think leg extension is hard. A lot of people fuck about on leg extension. I see people on their phones whilst doing leg extension, and honestly, this machine is probably, well, all machines can make you burn, right? But for me, this machine probably makes me burn the most out of most machines. This is probably top 3 for me. Absolutely kills, but I love it. Can you tell that my clen has been upped? It can't just be me. I hear some hilarious stories. There's one girl who did a prep. She worked at a coffee shop, and because coffee doesn't have any calories in it, she thought that coffee beans had no calories in it. So, don't know what possessed her. She'll probably watch this. Don't know what possessed her, but she ended up eating, like throughout the day, handfuls of coffee beans. Like, she said they didn't even taste nice, and the worst thing was, she was actually eating more calories in coffee beans than she was in her actual diet. I think she ended up on like 700 calories, and she was eating like 600-700 calories of coffee beans. So it makes me feel better. It makes my sugar-free jelly addiction not so bad. We're gonna do abs, and we're gonna do some hamstrings. So obviously this is gonna get hamstrings. It's also gonna get some glutes. And the way I'm doing it is I'm gonna try and also get a little bit of glutes in this. I have used machines like this before, and I've always found that they've really hurt the backs of my knees. This one at the minute isn't hurting it, so we're gonna give it a go. It's obviously another thing we can do for hamstrings. I am incredibly weak on it, so I'm not gonna be using any weight as of yet. We're just gonna try and go for like 8 to 10 reps and make them real nice and controlled. I do need to get some shoes that are good for this. Like, they have some Sabo shoes which are really good, and the grip you just don't fall off. I feel like by rep 6 or 7 my feet have completely slid off, so I need to actually bring them with me and make an effort, because my calves are actually all right. From a side profile, my calves actually stick out really nicely. It's from the back shot they're just not great. Okay guys, we're done. Also, little fun side part of information. I am going to start doing some more lifestyle vlogs as well, but I recently rescued a 4-week-old kitten. So she's been doing my fucking head in, but she's so sweet. She's a little climber, and she literally, whenever she feels like it, just scales your whole body. So I'm going to go home and look after her. She's honestly just good as gold. She's just a little monkey. But I will show you guys her in one of my lifestyle vlogs coming up. But that is the end of today's session. It was a pretty good session actually. I was very, very happy with the single leg press we did on the gold machine. That was really nice. Definitely going to make that a staple for the next coming weeks. We are edging on like 14 weeks out, which is just crazy. Like, we're in that stage now where it's just mission, try and get as much fat off as possible. So I'm very, very weak, very flat. Kind of just feel like I'm regressing, but it's all part of the process. Next week I go into a diet break, which will be nice. And the week following that, I think we're actually going to start off very, very slowly, very, very gradually building up a PUD cycle, which will be very exciting because I just morph. Like, I might even add in a few photos in another video of what I look like in an 8-week difference with some PUDs and assistance added in. So I'm very, very excited to see my physique kind of come to life, and it definitely will be the mental reboot I need, because this for me is the hardest part of prep right now. That part of prep where you're pushing, but you're hungry, but you're flat, and you know, you don't have the energy, and you kind of look at yourself in the mirror and you think, I look shit, but all the glycogen has gone from your body, and you just have to push through this stage, and then all the fun will begin. You'll see me and I'll be pointing out all the veins in my arms. I have a nice massive one that appears in my forehead. I love it. We can call her Janice. But yeah, anyway, very excited. That's the end of this session. I hope you guys had a good time watching it. If you did enjoy it, make sure you like, subscribe, comment. If you want to see something different, let me know in the comment section. And I will see you again next week, I think, for something a bit different. I think we have a guest with us next week, but we will see. Either something different or something exactly the same.